Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Dolly?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg. Welcome to the show. I didn't even press the right. There it is. There's the logo. Oh my God. It's a Monday. It's Mental Health Monday. We're all going to do open and honest.
Mental Monday.
It's Mental Monday. We're going to do check-ins. We're going to get shit off our chest. Hey, and guess what? All bets are off. You got problems with your parents, your friends, your colleagues, just say it here. It'll be for good. It'll be for entertaining for the audience.
What if
do you
the
guys
problem's with you?
think? No. I'm not the problem.
Oh, okay.
I've literally
That's
never
like real
once,
world.
I've never been the problem. I don't think.
Oh, cool. That's healthy.
It's never once been my fault.
Mhm.
Hi, everybody. I already feel better. Thank you for being here.
My problem is that I thought this was a birthday stream for Ryan, and he's not. I thought
he's
he
not
was
on
part
his
of
own
this.
birthday channel.
This is we're doing this for Ryan.
This is all for Ryan. Put it on the banner quick. All super chats go to Ryan.
All for Ryan.
All for Ryan. No, today is Ryan Dole's birthday. We'll see him tomorrow night on Toy Anxiety. We will tomorrow's gonna be a fun episode. I think we got some fun stuff planned, but we can't say it yet. But
Do we?
yeah.
You gonna you gonna tell the rest of the co-hosts what those
You
things?
know,
Yeah, there's
are?
whispers in the
we've talked
forest.
about it multiple times.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, well, I'll put it in our private chat, and then everybody else
Okay.
You know.
will.
Yeah, do it. If you I don't know if anybody knows this, but you get access to the private chat if you become a $30 patron member.
If somebody wants to send me $5,000, I will stop podcasting and give you all of this.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was tomorrow, Craig.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
that's cool, right?
That's very cool.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's
I
gonna
read the
ruin
private
Ryan's
chat.
birthday in the private chat. Anyways, hope everybody's having a great day. Let me check in with my co-hosts. Jacob Walsh, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Am I supposed to do my mental check-in right now, or are you just saying hi?
Well, we can wait. Well, let's
Okay.
wait. Let's really
Then-
build it up.
Hey, then hi.
Hi. Hello.
Good.
Hello. Hey, I miss Hal Clay. Where's he?
He's probably at home.
Yeah, he's with
Might be at
Orlock
work.
Cat.
We
Caring for
had-
cats.
we did a long bonus episode for Patreon last week, and we all talked about how we're not going to Dragon Con, but I don't think we've told any of the people we normally go with. So
I
maybe
don't
we
think
should.
we did. Yeah.
If any of them are depending on us for the room,
I see AJ's in chat.
We're acting
Hey,
like
AJ.
Hal listens to the podcast. I'm sure he's fine.
I think Hal listened.
He listens sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Hi, Hal.
Oh, Hal told me. I don't know if I told you guys this, but last time I was hanging out with Hal, he told me how he was sitting around and Thorin was listening to YHS, and I was like, wait, what? I was like, Thorin was listening, and he was like, Thorin listens more than I do.
Thorn is
I was
Hal's.
like, okay,
How old is he?
Fucking
10?
Thorin approved.
something
10-year-old
like
son?
that. 10, 11.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kids love us. He's probably our only child that listens. He's basically our kid too. None of us have
Yeah.
kids. We'll
This is
take a
getting
Thorn.
weird.
It's got really weird.
Anyway, Thorin, if you're
it did.
listening, thank you.
Thorn, if you're listening, we're not sending child support, but we want to. We just don't have.
We can
the
send you some toys and like some
Okay.
cereal
Wait,
if you'd like.
money. Abigail, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. Been working a lot and podcasting and preparing for Japan, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited for this coming weekend also with Toylana and being able to reunite with some friends. I'm pumped for Toy Anxiety tomorrow, and I'm super excited that it's Ryan's birthday because I love him. And this
Yeah.
is my happy birthday to him officially is happy birthday, Ryan.
It's happening on this show. We're not going to acknowledge it tomorrow.
No,
Mm.
it's done. Back to Jacob.
So we're not going to do a mental health check-in every Monday. And
Mhm.
it doesn't need to be like there's no fuck budget. We can make one like, all right, Jake, when it comes to, but I had a fucked up weekend. Jacob,
Me
did you
too.
notice we didn't talk all weekend?
I did. I thought you were mad at me.
No,
Well,
Jake, you
that's
needed
part
to-
of your mental health issues. is that-
No, I was at my mom's, and I figured we didn't talk because I was at my mom's.
No, I had a really, really fucked up like 48 hours. I had like a massive, I'm just gonna be
What
the
happened?
only way I can do life is to be open with you guys. I just had a massive panic attack that started Friday night at about 7 o'clock out of literally nowhere, and it lasted till like 6 o'clock yesterday.
What the
It was
It took
awful.
your whole weekend.
Yeah.
It robbed me of.
Were you looking for a parking spot, or did it just happen?
No, it was a
For
legitimate
24
real.
hours. He's at the Mall of
was-
America. Just
I was
kidding.
at the Lowe's parking lot. No, I mean, this type of I am on medication now for anxiety, which has been helping a lot. So shout out to modern medicine. Thank you for
the
existing.
oldest antidepressant.
Thank you, Brian Brink, for saying we look great. I needed that.
Yeah, Brian, that you're the real hero. That's who we need.
I was off of it for like 2 days because my pharmacy sucks, and they were like, "Oh, we're out of that." I'm like, "Well, what do you think we should do?"
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah.
Is your pharmacy the same pharmacy we went to together? A CVS maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let me
Literally the
give you a
worst.
tiny bit of maybe constructive criticism. Switch to a real pharmacy.
Okay.
not a
Thank
yeah,
you. Guess who's been saying that? I literally, yeah. I feel like this is a 100%
be
a real
better.
authentic conversation, but I have been saying that it's a stressful.
Right.
Nothing against
Um,
CVS, but I don't think that's their first. You know,
Yeah.
I think they're more concerned with selling you like 3 things of Airheads for $4
And Funko Pops.
and Funko Pops. Yeah.
One time I was at that CVS that literally doesn't even sell Funko Pops, but they had a Phoebe and a podcast Funko Pop.
Did you
Somebody
buy 'em?
planted them for you?
No, I took a picture of them and sent them to Logan's dad. I was like, look.
I thought
my
CVS's these
prescription.
days were only. I thought like movie theaters were keeping CVS's going, and the only reason they exist is people go there to
For
get their
candy.
candy before they go to the movies.
That's interesting. Yeah, you have to have a
Which
prescription for all
I don't know if I
the
condone
good
that.
candies. Yeah.
Even
I'm
though
like
I
back
do it.
there. I'm
You-
like, oh, I've got.
You don't like
I've got
taking
a-
outside candy to the theater?
I
You're such a
do.
purist for the rules.
Well, it's not. It's less about the rules, and it's more about the overpriced candy at the movie theater is one of the only ways movie theaters make money.
Oh,
so
you're
it's
actually
So it's like, oh, it
Putting
kind of
money on the
sucks
table.
for the. Yeah, it's like it sucks that it's all more expensive, but that money is directly keeping that theater open. So
that's a good way to look at it.
yeah,
So, anyways, I was off my medication for just a couple days, but like, not to get too in the weeds with that, it's not the type of medication that is like, it's like in your system. So, like that shit, that I don't think
it
that
shouldn't
was,
have happened.
It shouldn't have happened, and I don't think that was the core issue. Abby and I were moving. We got a new bed. All this shit happened Friday. It was a really great day, and like life tends to do, sometimes you're in the middle of having a great time, and then you just get like ninja kicked in the face by something, some fleeting thought or some triggering moment. I haven't pinpointed exactly what it was, but I was in a very bad place Saturday, and it just did not go away. I tried to sleep it off, didn't help. Tried to go to Waffle House, made it worse. Like, not because of the food, just it's like one of those CVS situations, it's bad service, and it just wasn't a good weekend. And last night, about 5 or 6 o'clock, just kind of faded, went down the river, and then I was so mad
Because it was your weekend.
because it was done. My weekend was done. I was like, might as well just call it. Go to work tomorrow. This sucks. So yeah, wasn't.
But you
fun.
feel better.
I do feel better. I don't know if you. I mean, look, I have no problem being vulnerable with these people watching, even though it's going to be on YouTube for literally. This will outlive my lifetime.
So maybe somebody will study it and learn from it.
There's a weird
Please?
thing with the type of anxiety I have, where one of the symptoms is shortness of breath, and it's almost kind of like one thing is like, is the anxiety causing the shortness of breath, or is the shortness of breath causing the anxiety? And they really like to work together to
Yeah.
really double team you. Not unlike the White Lotus, which maybe we'll get to later. Um, listen, we're a pop culture podcast, but we're mainly talking about me right now. It was a really tough weekend. I am feeling better. Abby was there for me. I'm sure it wasn't that fun to be around. So, Abby, I will formally say thank you for being there for me.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I love that we're doing this with like everyone watching. Thank you.
Well, here's Abby and I have tried to have.
What would you rather be doing? Answering what your favorite part of Frozen Empire was again?
Hey,
So
that episode got a lot of views last
You
week.
think
Listen,
Melody will come back?
listen.
What
Abby and I have
Shimon?
tried to have this conversation 5 times
Yeah.
today, and it's ended in fighting every time. So I was like,
you know why? Because you two need a mediator.
We are
And it's
taking
me,
it in our audience. And the
whether I
chat.
like it or not.
Whether we like it or not, we need it. It's true.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
feel
won't
so
go into
much
my
better.
full weekend, but
No.
had a lot happen.
Details. No,
Nope,
you
I
don't
want to
have
know everything.
You do? All right. Well, I won't go into like specifics about like where I work, etc. But I did have a very, very heavy, stressful weekend of work. I had a guest come in and be very rude to me and like complain about a small plate on the table being dirty, and that was like a big issue for them. And when I came back, they asked me about some drinks, and then when I came back, I realized that this person had thrown up in their linen and left it on the table
Oh my
for me
God.
to clean up. And I made eye contact and I was like, is everything okay here?
Oh
And
my
the other lady was like, she's like, I just got sick. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
Apparently.
But why did you do it right here?
Why'd you do it here? It wasn't even our food. It was like the food you had before you got here. Like it was awful. It was gross. And I didn't. Yeah,
Well,
I
that
didn't
person's
enjoy it.
probably also Abby. That sucks. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you.
I
I appreciate it.
I hope that person is also telling a story right now about how they had an awful weekend and they're like, I fucking threw up at a restaurant. And I
Oh,
hope
I'm
their
sure
they're,
it got
podcast.
worse
I hope
from
they're
there. That
embarrassed
can't.
about it.
Yeah, it seemed that was the beginning of the domino
Yeah.
effect of probably a terrible night. Which,
Abby, I don't want to tell all your business, your stories. You don't have to go into any detail, but your weekend started off better
yeah,
because you got to do a little hang time. I'm wearing the shirt. I'm wearing my Cobra Kai shirt.
oh
you-
yeah,
You
Yeah.
you met a couple of the Cobra Kai cast members.
yeah. Have I not shared that story? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
This is for Ryan's birthday, by the way. I should say that. I actually waited on 2 actors from Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence's son Robbie, and what's the main character's name? LaRusso's kid,
Mary Mouser,
Mary Mouser. Yeah,
Samantha
fun.
LaRusso, and the actor's name who plays Robbie is Tanner Buchanan, which that's a great That's a great actor name.
Yeah. If we're spending time in like the nicer parts of my job, that was a nice moment. I really
That's
enjoyed
cool. That's very cool.
talking to them. Yeah, they were super sweet, and they just got engaged, and they were both just very nice. And I told them I was a fan of the show, and I toyed
Wait,
with
they
the
got
idea.
engaged in real life?
Yeah, like they play.
And they
a
play. They're a couple in the show?
Couple. Mm-hmm.
Well, no,
Okay.
not by the spoiler.
Well,
But
they
are
go back
they-
and forth as to who they're with, but
Yeah.
like
one is the one.
they fell in love in real life. That's for that.
But one is
Celebration.
the son of the bad guy, and one is the son of like the good guy from the original
Yeah.
The daughter of the good. Yes,
daughter.
it's
That's what
yeah,
I meant, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
that is a.
that's a real Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
situation.
they were.
I mean,
They
for our
were.
like to, it would be like if McKenna Grace came in to eat with Emily Aylin Lynn. I don't know. I don't, there's no good direct comparison.
No, there's not. Why
Well,
do that?
anyways, it was great, and I was a little bit disappointed though because Abby, you mentioned you did think about showing off some of your own karate skills, and you decided not to.
Yeah, at one point Robbie like dropped his knife and I dropped down to pick it up, and then I also got a new clean knife off another table and like set it down for him like very quickly. And I was like, Mary Mouser was like, "Oh, that was fast," and I was about to be like, "Yeah, I could have been in the Saikai Taikai."
You
I
didn't.
didn't do that.
You didn't like go to take a plate off the table and just like let a YHS card slip out of your.
No,
Oh, I dropped
think
that.
about
Keep
it.
it.
If you guys
God.
do podcasts,
Here's a fun sentence. I have a podcast.
oh,
Yeah,
people love that.
That's what people love hearing.
yeah.
I don't even like hearing it.
Yeah, it wasn't my goal to inundate them, but yeah, they were sweet. They were very sweet, and that was a nice moment that I was able to kind of enjoy. As someone who's seen every episode of that show and has watched them kind of grow up and see their characters develop, it was cool to see them like in the place where I was working.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If anybody's ever in the Atlanta area, the exterior set for the Cobra Kai dojo is like a mile from where Abby and I live, and again, low price, $5,000. I'll get you up there. We'll take some pics. Let's go.
I'll even take
Dude,
you to
let's
the
do a
Stranger
Cobra Kai Star
Things,
Tours. Sorry.
high school.
Oh yeah, we'll go to the. Hey, they tore down the Stranger Things high school.
Oh, is it gone now?
It's
Okay,
gone.
I knew they were
Aw.
gone. Well, there's still something. There's
Well, you know
still-
what's
Aw.
funny?
I just fell in love with the idea of a YHS bus tour, and now
The
That is a
YHS
good idea.
reality tour.
yes,
we go around the
about, like,
filming
little
locations.
Milky Way.
The
This
real
is where,
Jacob Walsh.
This is where YHS filmed the Linda Blair video.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob, I want to hear about your Abby. Thank you for sharing. I want to hear about your whatever your. We used to call this, back when we started, mental health wasn't on everybody's radar. We used to call it stress.
Our
But,
stress.
but now,
That was a
no,
code.
I was thinking about that high school from Stranger Things, and that school is in Stockbridge, Georgia, where I grew up. It used to be Stockbridge High School, but by the time I was in high school, it had become Patrick Henry High School, which was the alternative school. You guys remember the alternative school?
Yeah.
They would take the delinquents, the bad kids, basically the kids who probably grew up and ended up having.
Yeah, I had
cooler-
some friends who went there. It was called Crossroads.
Yours was called Crossroads.
Yeah.
See you at the crossroads. It's funny.
Not that cool though.
But Patrick Henry High Schools were, the kids, the delinquents, they'd send over there to I don't know like what the difference was at that school. Like they did a really good job of showing what those kids remember on the Vice Principals, the one kid that Gamby like gets expelled and then brings him back.
Yeah.
Like that is a classic Patrick Henry kind of kid. Like he's actually smart, but he has kind of a rough home life. They don't know what to do with him, so they put him at Patrick Henry High School. Anyways, it's gone. They tore it.
What's interesting is that high school sounds like it was named after the two main bullies in Stephen King's It.
God damn.
Because
Patrick and Henry.
Mhm.
That's they mainly sent bullies to that school.
Yeah.
And they tend to name those schools after classic bullies.
Yeah.
So you're
Henry
100%
Bowers, Patrick Hockstetter. Yep.
other famous bullies, Bart Simpson High. Was he a
Mhm.
bully? I guess he wasn't.
I think he
Nelson.
probably was. Kinda.
Yeah,
it
I'm
depends
sure
on-
with
it
the
depends
Power
on-
Rangers.
Hey, that reminds me. I don't. This is just a really quick because it's funny, and I've been
Yeah.
meaning to tell you. But I saw like a video of a prank where people go into like they go into like a Walmart and they ask the person at the counter to look for somebody and give them a name a lot like this. Bart used to call Moe's
yeah.
Tavern, and I saw a video of a guy doing that, asking like, "Hey, I'm looking for my brother. Will you call him?" And the guy does it, and it's a name that's like My Boner or something like that. But the guy's wearing a Bart Simpson shirt, and it just makes the whole thing so much funnier.
Well, I feel like remember Crank Yankers?
Yeah,
Like the idea, like I used to love the idea of doing prank calls, but I was too chicken to try
you're
to do
too
them.
scared to do it. What if
I was too scared
What
to
if
do
they have? What if they have call
Star 67.
They call me back.
Yeah, whichever one. Yeah.
You didn't used to do YouTube used to have, it wasn't YouTube, it was like a website that had soundboards, and it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger
Oh, yeah.
soundboards where you could just click it and it would say the thing, and you could just hold the phone up and have a whole conversation.
Yeah. they're
Yeah,
like,
that sounds like some morning show stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, like radio. Yeah, like you call Pizza Hut. They're like, "Hi, thank you for calling Pizza Hut." And you're like, "Listen to me. Get to the chopper." Yeah, it's always get to the
Yeah,
chopper.
we've all listened to the same.
It's not a tumor. Hey, Kindergarten Cop's pretty cool.
Sorry, I was going to Bulk and Skull High School.
Yeah, Bulk.
That's the one you went to.
Yeah,
I've been waiting to get that out.
yeah. I went to Draco Malfoy. Draco
Malfoy,
Middle.
dude, don't do it. Don't commit if you've never read it or watched it.
Draco Malfoy Middle fucking school. Hey. Whew. Was he a
Cool.
bully? He wasn't nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I was.
I'd say
He
so.
was bully.
Yeah.
Jacob,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't.
Well.
must be nice.
That's good. This doesn't have to be complaining.
Yeah, I had a good Friday. Finished like a tattoo that I was looking forward to. I finished a book that I've been reading for a long time on
The Bible.
Friday. The Bible, yep. And then Saturday I got up and I had to go to my mom's. I had some family come in from out of town, and I know sometimes that stuff is like boring, but like it was like the part of the family that I like hanging out with. So it was weird Friday. So like they're all like kind of drinking a little bit. And Friday I learned out of probably about like the 10, closest family members, I learned which ones are Trump supporters and not many. So I was like, okay, that's a smaller number than I
So
would
the
have thought.
averages were okay. Okay.
It was the cool
And
Harris
then-
family.
What was really interesting is I then learned out of all of my family which ones believed in God or not. And also very small number. And I was like, hey,
Oh.
I'm proud of you guys.
Checking boxes.
Bunch
Yeah,
of
I
heathens
was like, this
over
is
there.
pretty good. What'd
That's
you say?
cool,
I
Jacob.
said a bunch of heathens down there in the
Yeah.
pool. Were you in the pool?
No, it was not warm
Oh,
down
okay.
there. So
Gotcha.
I'm happy for you, dude.
I was
Yeah.
by the pool.
I was by the pool.
Yeah. But that's it. I didn't
So-
really like I didn't have any, just kind of chilled out. Drove home yesterday and then I
Yeah.
watched TV.
Some shows last night. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah, I it's weird. As I get older, like I'm realizing with family stuff, like there's been some talk about like my mom's side of the family having like a family reunion type thing. And normally I'd be like, oh, but it's just like it might be kind of interesting to get to know some of these people that I haven't seen since I was 5.
Yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, I have I got most of my family does live down there in Florida now, but I have like an aunt that lives in Massachusetts and a cousin that lives up in North Carolina, and don't see them as often, but they were all down. So
Very cool.
got to hang out. Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, but I did read. I did finish reading, not the Bible, Craig.
Oh.
You're wrong. A book
Melville's Bible.
better than the Bible. Yes. A Bible on how to kill whales. Moby Dick.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Bible you could buy at SeaWorld.
SeaWorld's Bible is the regular Bible, but they put a lot of whale death. They add a bunch of whale death into it.
Yeah.
And they're like, also, it's okay.
It's
Right.
like, and then God said, whales only need 5 feet by 7 feet of space in their
The Lord
container.
decreed that schools of children should observe the whales.
But where will they observe them?
This is good.
In the natural habitat of whales, Central Florida.
All whales should be moved to Florida.
Oh my God!
And
And how long
monitored.
should we observe them? Till I come. What?
Each
Till I
whale,
come. Till I come is his name.
each whale shall kill 5 humans
I
before the reckoning of Blackfish.
like that.
Oh my God!
I read Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great book. It was really good. Does have a lot of animal death in it, but it also has my favorite thing in the world in it, which is like animal revenge. It's my
Yeah.
favorite. It's my favorite kind of book to
your
read.
favorite-
Favorite kind of movie to watch.
Favorite genre of music?
It's favorite genre of music. It's my favorite kind of photos to have on my phone. It's
I know we're all dancing around. Continue.
hey, side story. My aunt recently had surgery on her foot.
Okay.
Mhm.
and she was walking like really crazy, and she was telling everybody what they had to do, and I was like, hey, that sounds insane. Do you have pictures of it?
Oh.
And she was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, let me see them pictures. And one of my cousins was like, she didn't want to look, but she was curious. Not a not a bloody or gory photos, but a gross looking. They had to do a lot of stuff. And my cousin's like, how can you look at that? And I was like, I got 5 photos worse than this on my phone right now.
Well,
And
you have been
they're all
saying-
like, what?
Jacob, you've said recently to me in private, so we should just publicly say it, that you really can't pull your phone out and scroll through pictures in public.
No, I can't. But only because very recently, I've been super. I mean, we talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago. I've been like I get super hyper focused on things. And remember, we had a whole conversation on the show about the Tooth and Claw podcast and the bear stuff and the Timothy Treadwell documentary and all that. And as we were watching that stuff, I did a lot of research to see what happens when a man faces a bear. And there's lots of evidence of why you want to be careful to not be around bears on the internet. And I saved them to my phone so I could show them to Jess and send them to people who didn't want to see them. And I don't know, this shit's crazy and it's on my phone. So it's there. But anyway, Moby Dick. I've been trying to talk about Moby Dick for an hour.
Abby just went,
I'm gonna send them to both of you while
It's
you're
like
asleep.
the Death
So in the
Museum
morning,
in there.
just
No,
No, dude. Abby was like
It is
Walton
like the
Goggins
Death
reacting
Museum,
to Sam Rockwell right there.
All
right, let's talk about Moby Dick.
I don't
Let's talk
care.
about Moby Dick.
It's interesting to me, so I like.
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I like
exactly.
seeing that kind of stuff.
We all have hyperfixations. I have no judgment.
The thing about Moby Dick that I really liked is after reading it, it's like I've always wanted to read that book. I was a little intimidated by it when I was younger. It's a very big book, but I knew that you know that other things reference Moby Dick a lot. I knew that there was a bunch of like Moby Dick references in Jaws. I knew when I read Jaws that the way Quint dies in the book is like the way Ahab dies in Moby Dick. I'd seen the movies, but reading Moby Dick almost feels like it literally feels like a companion piece to Jaws. Like it feels like Peter Benchley just it's like Jaws is Moby Dick. It's just Moby Dick. It's the same thing. And they're talking about Martha's Vineyard constantly in Moby Dick, and at one point the crew is singing songs, and one of the songs they sing is one of the songs Quint sings in Jaws. And then there's it's that one. And then there's also there's also like Quint. You know how Quint is like so insane, but he's really charismatic, and you just want to hear him say nonsensical things. Like it's just what Ahab is. Ahab is just Quint and Ahab are the same. Like they're the same thing. Peter Benchley did nothing except change the name. Basically, he's like, let me get a crazy guy who really wants to have revenge on a whale, and just make him. He's like he's Shakespeare the way he talks, but it's all just about trying to find this whale.
Has there been a
great.
decent film adaptation of Moby Dick?
So there's a lot. There's a lot of film adaptations, and I think most people prefer. There's an older one with Gregory Peck in it.
Okay.
And I remember really liking that. I mean, I haven't seen it since I read the book. There's also one with William Hurt, and then there's also one with Patrick Stewart.
Okay, so the whole thing with Ahab, it's got to be like a renowned.
Well, he's a big, crazy, larger than life. He's got an ivory leg because Moby Dick bit his leg off, and there's this funny in the book they keep coming across other boats. Like they'd be like, oh shit, here's another ship, another whaling ship, and anytime they would get to the boat, the first thing Ahab would do would be like, "Hey, did you guys see Moby Dick?" And like they would be, if they said no, then he would be like, "Fine, bye," and he would just be like, "We don't even want to talk." And it's like kind of funny, But if they had seen Moby Dick, he would be like, "Tell me everything," He'd be like,
It
so
sounds like we need a modern adaptation with Danny McBride playing Ahab.
I would love that. There's also, I want to like pick up some of the, one of my favorite things to do once I read a book is try to watch every adaptation. There's a lot of Moby Dick adaptations. I've seen the Patrick Stewart one and I've seen the Gregory Peck one, but I would like to rewatch them now that I've read the book. But then there's like an animated Moby Dick where Moby Dick is the good guy, which rightfully so, he is the good guy, and then
is that a more modern adaptation than the animated?
I think it's like from the 90s.
Okay, yeah, like they were like Free Willy, let's do it.
Yeah, it's a musical like Disney style cartoon, and
that sounds fun.
Ahab's the villain. But then there's also, that company, The Asylum, that makes the like Sci-Fi Channel knockoff movies.
Oh yeah.
They made a movie called Moby Dick 2010. I own it. I have seen it multiple times. Barry Bostwick from Rocky Horror Picture Show plays Ahab. And the whale is like a 200-foot prehistoric creature, and the Pequod is a submarine instead of a boat, and but it's got a lot of like dialogue straight from it's really silly. I
love that, like 2010
Moby Dick.
Ooh.
The cover looks like Jaws. It's like the whale coming up, and
we did have one comment from Dude in the chat talking about Orca being a solid revenge film. Now, Jacob, I know you've been hunting for Orca. There's going to be a little VHS swap coming up this weekend. You think you're gonna nail it? I'm
gonna look for it. Yeah. I want to buy it. I'm gonna own it. Might not ever watch that movie again. The movie's pretty rough. And I read the book that movie is based on last year. So.
Could I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
When you say it's rough, like, no, all joking aside, what are you referring to?
I think we've talked about it before, and I also, when I read that book, I read that book back to back with another killer whale book called Killer. They're both about killer whales out to kill people, but Orca is really Orca's rough, man. The plot is that this guy is like he's trying to catch a shark because he's trying to he's broke and he needs money and he's trying to catch a shark, but then a killer whale kills the shark before he can do it. So he's like, "Oh, let's capture the whale." So he captures this whale. It's a female killer whale, and he just has her he's caught her. She's like hanging above the boat, just like suffocating to death, and her mate is just watching. He can't do anything because he's in the water, and then the stress of the slow suffocation causes her to have a miscarriage on the boat, which the male orca also has to watch, and then she dies, and then the captain, who is the main character of the story, just drops her back in the water. And the male orca who's just watched all this is like, "Oh, I'm going to kill this motherfucker," and everybody on this boat. So the whole plot of the movie is now that whale is like trying to get revenge. In the book is like really, the guy's just gross in the book. He's like, I don't know. There's some like iffy stuff. And then gets a couple other people killed. And then in the end, in the book, the whale doesn't kill the guy. In the book, the whale almost eats him and then stops and then just like decides to let the guy go. In the movie, the orca does kill him, which I'm glad they made that change. But the rest of the movie is it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like,
that seems really heavy. Yeah.
Like movies like Lake Placid or Anaconda, which we're going to talk about. I know like those movies are fun to watch the animals run around, and like Jaws is a fun movie. Orca is like, it's like, oh, this is actually really how we treat animals, and then like the whole rest of the movie, they try to make the orca like the bad guy, and I'm like, well, he's not.
Right,
So,
right.
So, and I read Orca and I read Killer back to back, and Killer is fun. Killer is like super silly, and the orca was like trained by the government to try to assassinate people, and then decides it doesn't want to do that, so it teaches a bunch of other orca how to like assassinate humans, and it's silly.
That's fun. That
It's
first
fun. It's
story,
super
not so
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Orca is rough, but the so I rewatched Orca after I read the book, and then I read Killer, and then that's when I wrote that. Remember a couple of years ago, I wrote
Yep.
that article about that's
As
what
soon as
caused
you
me. That's what caused
Describe
me
that
to
story. I was like,
yeah.
that has to be what precipitated that.
Yeah, that's what caused me to like write all that, because I was just like, why, who wrote this? Why is it
Mhm.
so? Why is this so awful? I mean, like,
Mean-spirited.
maybe it's on purpose, because like that is what people actually do that. So I'm like, maybe this was written to kind of be a like, hey, stop. But it's just not a fun read. The movie's not a fun watch. But Orca is a like it's a widely known, it's one of those like Jaws ripoffs that a lot of people hold a little bit higher than some of the others. So I do want to own it.
Intriguing. Thank you for sharing all that. Follow me closely on this one before we move on. What I'm about to say is really fucking stupid.
Okay.
But if you
So,
guys
just like
if you guys could just give me 2 minutes of space, and maybe if you feel inspired, riff along with me.
Okay.
Whale idea for a movie.
Okay. I'm in.
It's the whale from Pinocchio.
Monstro.
Who
sometimes is not a whale, by the way.
It's the Disney version of
Okay. All right.
Pinocchio, which
Wait,
is one of my favorites.
the new live action, because he's not a whale in that either. He's like a half squid, half whale.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Original.
The original. You with me, Ab?
Mm-hmm.
It's that whale. The movie starts with Pinocchio in the whale. A man comes and hunts the whale, kills him, while Pinocchio's inside the whale. Pinocchio's like, why'd you do that? They start bonding. Because of a weird old German law, this man now has to adopt Pinocchio as his son.
Okay.
But then Geppetto shows up, and it turns into like a courtroom drama.
Oh, it's like
over
Big
who
Daddy. It's Big
is
Daddy,
like
but with
Big Daddy.
Pinocchio.
With Pinocchio. The whale's really kind of out of the picture early on.
Pinocchio's like, but I pissed my pants.
yeah. I wipe my own ass. No, you don't. You're not even a real boy. Do you guys like it?
Sure. I mean, hey, I would rather watch that, which sounds like it has the potential to be weird and maybe funny.
Yeah.
I would rather watch that than another remake of Pinocchio. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know
Sure.
who's asking for any of these live action Disney remakes. Did you guys see Zach Meyer's long review of the Snow White?
I did. I meant to shoot him a message and say, "Hey, dude, will you please get a Letterboxd account? Because that's where these belong." Is on
I didn't know
Letterboxd,
he
not
was-
on Facebook.
I didn't know he was such a like he's in like Snow White's like one of his.
Yeah,
movies.
I didn't know that either until he was posting about it.
But he liked it. He seemed like he liked it.
Yeah,
He was
I
like,
mean,
Gal
good.
Gadot was pretty good.
good. I'm never gonna watch it, but good.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna do it for Patreon.
Yeah, Zach, if you're listening, get a Letterboxd account.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Should we talk about why I think movies are maybe dying?
Yeah.
That was the headline. Abby, do you have anything
So-
else before we move on to any movie talk?
No.
I've just been kind of like perusing the news, the movie news, things getting announced, and it like I feel like we're in this moment in time where I'm like, what are we doing anymore? Maybe we've been here for a long time, but the quadruple hit today was reading about, and not that any of these things are necessarily going to be bad or that I'm not excited.
Two of
about
them are.
So
Two of them are gonna be bad. I'll tell you right now.
So today, in one day, I was catching up on the latest news on 4 different projects.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is the new Mummy movie that they're going to do at Blumhouse, directed by, oh God, what is his name? I just had it. It's the guy who directed Evil Dead Rise.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Lee Cronin, I think.
Lee Cronin, yeah. And starring some guy I don't know who this is. Jack
Hey.
Rayner.
You do know him.
Who is he?
He is the boyfriend from Midsummer.
Oh,
Okay.
the bear.
Got
Yes.
Now, when I say the guy from the bear, you might be thinking, oh, no, not him. The actual guy from the bear. So anyways, that's one of the projects I was reading about. So there's gonna be a new Mummy movie. Fine.
Okay.
I was also reading about the Anacondas movie coming out this Christmas, which is Paul Rudd, Jack Black, Sony Pictures. It's a movie about a group of people who love the movie Anaconda who go to South America and try to remake it, and then it turns into a real anaconda. I
A
don't
real
know.
situation.
Like a
Okay.
meta kind of thing. It's like, okay, that's a thing that's happening. And then
Uh-huh.
the third one was the Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, is that her name? Follow up to Twisters. They're Universal's revving up a third Twister movie. And then the fourth one, which is not a movie, but I wanted to include it because the news was made official today. Linda Cardellini is going to be playing Mrs. Voorhees in the
Oh, good. That's good
Peak-
casting.
the Peacock streaming Crystal Lake series. So a lot of this doesn't even sound like it just sounds like a Chat GPT. Oh, by the way, earlier while you guys were talking, I had Chat GPT write a haiku about Moby Dick. It says, "White whale haunts the sea, Ahab's wrath, a cursed chase, fate swallows them whole."
Okay.
Now that's ChatGPT. ChatGPT AI didn't make up all the other stuff I was just talking about. These
It's
are
all
real.
real.
These
Yeah.
are real movies, real projects. I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through them.
I would love to. I'm very excited to talk about all 4
Okay.
of these. Yeah.
Abby, do you want to start? You want to start with the Mummy, or where should we start?
Yeah, let's start with the Mummy.
All right. So the Mummy. Jacob,
Yeah.
Blumhouse has been doing like they did. What are the other Universal monster movies they've done?
Invisible Man and Wolfman.
Okay. Have you seen both?
And
of
now
them?
Mummy Man.
Mummy Man.
I have not seen Wolfman yet because I'm not paying $20 to watch that fucking thing. I'm waiting for it to be streaming for free.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the new.
It
Captain
looks
America.
terrible. Yeah, same.
Oh,
But I did watch. But I did watch The Invisible Man.
Well, we saw Invisible Man. That was like an early COVID movie, isn't that?
Yeah.
With
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss from
Mhm.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
A show that I sometimes refer to as The Serious Office. I've never
Okay.
once said that. I hate that I just said that,
Okay.
but we're just gonna
Yeah.
scratch it from the record. Okay, Jacob, give me your thoughts on this Mummy movie.
So you usually like Blumhouse stuff is it's just usually I just don't care. most of the Blumhouse stuff is not for me. But I do. This director is pretty great. I really liked Evil Dead Rise a lot, and if I'm imagining a mummy movie that is actually a scary movie that's more in the vein of Evil Dead Rise, I'm okay with that. I've only seen this guy in Midsummer, and he's great in it. Midsummer is so good. Everybody's great in that. So this is the one movie on this list that I am probably the most optimistic about. It won't be like, Twisters and Anaconda, like those are attached to 2 of movies that I really love, and Mummy, it's just another Mummy movie. Who cares? Like what way it goes? There's nothing like, to me, important on the line here. It's like just going to be a horror film about a mummy. And the director did have like a little blurb where he said they're trying to make it. It's going to be a scary horror movie with like, it's not going to be like the other Mummy movies. It's
Yeah.
not going to be like an adventure film. It is going to be a horror film about a scary mummy. And okay, sure.
Good. Yeah. I don't want an adventure movie with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this. I think it's good. I think you should have someone that's like has a history in horror as an actor that can kind of ground things. So yeah, give me a scary mummy movie. I'll watch it.
No.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about. I guess there was talk for a little bit of maybe Universal trying to do like a legacy sequel with Brendan Fraser, and let's face it, it wouldn't be good. It just wouldn't, because they
I
wouldn't
mean,
do.
whatever. Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to do that, I wouldn't like. I'm not going to get mad at it, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, who knows what the probability of that being a good movie would be.
Right. So I mean, the only I thought Evil Dead Rise was really good. Sometimes these Blumhouse movies have like, I don't even know what to call it other than like the Blumhouse shine, whatever
Yeah,
that is.
Yeah, it's
a
all newness.
it's a mass to me. What I equate it with is like whenever the Stephen King books get reissued with a mass market cover for normal people to pick up,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
what Blumhouse is. It is like
Funny.
sometimes it's like dumbed down horror for like mass appeal. Like let's not get too gross, let's not get too weird, keep it a little shiny and put some
Right.
actors in there so
Right.
it still can be mainstream enough.
Jacob, did you watch that video I sent you? On we had that conversation
movie
last
thing?
week. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I'll link to it maybe in the description here. It's like a 7-minute video about why movies look the way they do now versus like it's
Yeah,
like that
like
Netflix thing.
a lot of technical stuff about the cameras they're using and the quality and just the way. Yeah, it was very informative.
It was informative, but like the key thing though was, yeah, the technology is changing and the way that movies are shot is changing and the way the movies are
So are
delivered.
mindsets. The
Right.
mindsets are changing.
The biggest thing is people just aren't putting as much work into anything anymore.
Yeah.
So the whole premise of the video is really cool, is that fucking Lindsay Lohan's The Parent Trap is actually a very technically well shot movie by an incredible cinematographer. It's like the same guy who did Rocky or Jaws or something.
A bunch of movies, like a
Yeah.
lot of movies. Like, yeah.
Mhm.
Tons
Yeah.
of
And it's because there's like contrast and shadows and every shot is well thought out and it's not just point, click, capture, move on.
Yeah.
And that shit matters. Like, and you see that, like, you watch movies from the 90s, Abby, like we watch like 90s comedies all the time. And some of them aren't necessarily like technically good movies, but a lot of them look like really great. Like the action sequences feel like intentional. I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
kind of
there's
an
quality
interesting.
that goes into the filming of it and thought, more so than like how I guess tools that are now available, technology to like kind of bypass some of those thoughtful moments where you set up a shot rather than just like, oh, what's the easiest way for us to do this? Well, let's get some CGI or let's whatever, like augment something, and that always takes me out. So yeah, I enjoy watching older films just because of that. So you can see color palette and contrast and landscape and nice things like that.
You know what I hate the most in modern movies is when they CGI like fire, like even like a campfire. I'm like, can we not light a fucking fire? I could go
Yeah.
light a fire. Anyways, all right. Next up, Twister sequel in the works. This was reported on a couple different sites today from some reputable people. Twisters was a huge box office hit. $372 million worldwide. Deadline specified how red state audiences came out in full force for Twisters. The film didn't politicize its setting. It was tornadoes are a common enemy, no matter what side of the political aisle you're on. We all want to throw dust.
Well,
into tornadoes.
it did make the soundtrack 100% country,
Worse.
which that kind of politicizes the.
Okay,
the
okay.
thing, right? Don't you think so?
Abby, where are you on? Well, before we talk about a third one, I know we saw Twisters once in theaters. Is this something you think should be moving forward?
Not with the cast that I think was in the last movie. I've really cooled off on that. I think that when I saw it, it was mostly forgettable, and it did have those notes in it of like, I don't know, like the country music and like souping up the car that can withstand the tornado. And I remember Jacob, you kind of putting the nail in the coffin on that movie, talking about it, and yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. It's definitely not something that I'm like, oh, I want more of that. It's just I haven't gone back and watched it.
Yeah, I'm over. Glenn Powell had a big year, and I'm over it. He's fine. I think like society wanted Glenn Powell to be like the new Tom Cruise or the new, whatever.
Didn't
He's
happen.
he's closer to Matthew McConaughey. That I think he's actually a good actor. I don't know if he needs to be like an action star. Like just put him in some movies. I listen. Here's how you get me for this one. Do the third one and bring back Helen Hunt and some of the original cast members, and I'll be a little bit more intrigued. Not that
Sure.
I'm like one of those guys that thinks every single thing needs to be nostalgia bait or whatever, but I love the even the minor characters with like no lines in the first movie are charming and have a lot of appeal. I just don't know what you do with this. It's just I feel like it'll just become like a Fast and the Furious type franchise. Like they'll just keep upping the ante, and in 3 movies from now, they're like, "There's a tornado on the moon. Who are we gonna send?" It's like I'm joking, but this is what happens with these kind of movies. So, Jacob, any thoughts on this?
Yeah. This movie was really bad. Everything about it was really bad. And one of the worst things about it was what we were just talking about. The way it looks. It looks awful. It looks awful. I thought going into this, from the trailers, I wasn't super excited. I was like, I can kind of tell that this is going to be like the Jurassic World of Twister. It's like maybe it will be fine, but you can just tell that it just doesn't look as good. And I've actually been wanting to do I've been thinking about it, and maybe I shouldn't even be saying it on here, but I've been wanting to do a video maybe for the channel where you take like the tornadoes from the original film and then just edit them together next to scenes from the new one.
Yeah.
Because the tornadoes look worse. The
Yeah.
fucking movie Twister was made in like 1996 or something like that, maybe even earlier. And it's insane that the tornadoes don't look as good as that movie. It's just super weird. I hated that movie so much. I had like a really weird visceral reaction to how much I hated Twisters, because I didn't think I was going to like it going in, but I was just like, who cares? Whatever. It'd be a big, dumb movie with tornadoes. And I came out of it like annoyed with how much I hated every aspect of it. And I just don't think we need another Twisters movie. I mean, if they did something completely different, like what Abby was saying, get a different cast, do something completely different. Maybe don't try to like capture, like they tried really, really hard to be like, well, we need someone who's like Helen Hunt and someone who's like,
Bill
the other, Bill Paxton. Yeah. Maybe don't do that. Maybe just like write new characters and let them be their own characters instead of like trying to copy what worked in the first Twister, because that movie sucked. I mean, it was so awful. I was so shocked to hear that you guys liked it that I was just like, I'm gonna throw my copy of Twister away. I don't ever want to talk about this movie again. I hated it so much.
Yeah. I guess I was trying to be reasonable. I remember watching it and I remember feeling like, okay, I was entertained. I guess that doesn't make it a good movie. It doesn't compare to the original, and I have no interest in revisiting it. So, yeah. Abby, anything else on this?
I mean, I think that you and I were both hopped up on Glenn Powell at the time, and the idea of him coming in and like staking a claim for the new Twisters and like it going off into some big new awesome territory, like I think that was exciting, and I think it was something we were looking forward to, because as Twister fans, it's like a smaller movie, but the fan base is just as passionate. So I think that we were thinking that maybe in our headcanon it was going to be closer to the original content, or like have the same effect that the first movie did, but it was so bloated and shiny and like fortified with all this like fake shit that it felt like not a real tornado. And that's the thing that was cool about the first movie. It felt like you were watching real tornadoes destroy stuff. And also you got some like human drama, and that was great. This one was like, why are we talking about businesses? Why are people trying to like take the power of the tornado and exploit it? Like,
Oh yeah, that was a
and also
weird.
sand. All of that
Yeah.
shit was dumb.
Z Mulaney says, "This is a great question. Actually, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. What's better?
Have you?
This is what I think about at night. The first Suicide Squad or Twisters?
I mean, I can't. I don't know if I can answer that because I saw the first Suicide Squad when it came out, and I haven't seen it since. And I didn't like either one of the Suicide Squads, so they kind of
meld.
in my head. I don't know what is what. Yeah, don't
I
know.
think from a movie making perspective, Twisters is a much better movie.
I think
think it's
so.
better
I think
than
that
Suicide Squad.
the manic level of like the soundtrack changing on the Suicide Squad, or is it? Yeah, the first one, not James Gunn's, but Suicide Squad. That was
I mean,
too much for me to handle.
Twisters did that too. I think. I would. Oh, you know, maybe Twisters didn't do it. Maybe it didn't change as much, but it definitely. I remember there were moments in the theater where I was like, "Are we going to listen to this entire fucking country song? Like, do I got to hear the whole thing?"
See, well, we differ. I like country, but yeah,
Well, I'm a little more rock, you know.
I'm more of like a rock guy.
I mean, the soundtrack to the first Twister movie is really great, and it's like got all kinds of stuff in it, and that's partly why I like it, because the soundtrack sort of reflects all of the weird characters in the movie. But then Twisters was like, make it all country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like their whole thing was like, let's put it in a rodeo. This guy's going to be like a redneck who drives a truck. It's all country and redneck. And I'm like, well, that's not what the spirit of Twister was.
No.
So now, like
was
the first
nerdy.
movie, the first movie is nerdy and it's science and everybody's got their own little weird quirk. And now it's just like a bunch of rednecks. And I don't want to watch that.
Bill Paxton was not a redneck. He did have a red truck, but he was a man of
He was a weatherman.
science. He was
It's
a
a nice
weatherman.
truck.
That is
Cool.
what's
next?
new
Let's move
job.
on. Let's move
Well,
on.
let's talk about Anacondas real quick.
Okay.
So there's not any new news on this other than I think it's filmed. Jack Black, Paul Rudd, remake, revisiting, reboot, sequel. Listen, there's a chance this movie comes out and is very there. It's got the ingredient
there?
that it could be funny.
You think this might be funny?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, well, you tell me what you think.
I think it's going to be awful, Craig.
Well, you also, I think, probably hold the original Anaconda at a little like.
Hey, fuck you.
No, I'm just saying. Like,
Well, no, here's the thing. I got multiple
here, let's
reasons.
let's hear it.
First of all, when was the last time you watched a Jack Black movie and like enjoyed it?
School Rock,
You-
2003, 22 years ago.
Cool. Same.
He was
also,
funny as Bowser.
I'm over.
Sure,
I think I'm over the like meta thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I feel like that's never. It's gotten beyond that trope is over the hill. You know what I mean? It was really cool, and sometimes there's some great like meta films out there. But now when I find out a movie's going to be meta, I'm like, oh, okay, all right, like we're just going to do this again. Also, the Anacondas are all going to be 100% CGI. It's
Yeah.
not going to look good. It's going to look very fake. Maybe the Anacondas in the original Anaconda look fake. They do. But they're animatronics. Somebody built them. You can tell they exist in the same world as the people do. There's something like charming about that. It's just gonna look bad. It might be a little funny. I'm more excited about this, than like I'm gonna go see it. I hope it is good. But I mean, like the ingredients and the recipe that they're building sounds like a fucking disaster to me.
The original cast to Anaconda is crazy. Jennifer Lopez, Ice Cube, John Voight, and his pencil, Owen Wilson. It's just a crazy, like,
Yeah.
It's Anaconda is actually closer to Twister, where it's like, let's get these 9 actors who. Why are they all in this movie together?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Well, I always felt like Twister and Anaconda and Congo and like Lake Placid. I know Lake Placid's a little bit later, but those movies have always felt like they're in the same universe to me. They all kind of look the same. They all have the same sort of sense of realism. They have the same kind of tone. They take themselves like as serious. It's like the right amount of we take ourselves seriously compared to we know what this movie is.
Mhm.
And I've always loved that little group of films are some of my they're some of my favorite movies. And there's something about that does not exist in movies anymore. So I don't know. I just can't. I can't imagine Anaconda with Jack Black and Paul Rudd like being. I don't know. I don't know. I just can't imagine it being like
to
great.
me, there's this. Maybe you guys can chime in on this. I don't. It's like I'm not just trying to shit talk. This is just an opinion I have. There is a group of actors that like on the surface and on the page when you see like the news, like this should mean something, but it never does. And those actors to me are like Jack Black, Adam Sandler, Kevin Hart. They're these actors who maybe have had moments of like really great success in comedy movies at one time, but it's like
Like box office success.
right.
Yeah.
We talked about it on a bonus last week, talking about Happy Gilmore. Is like, in theory, I'd love to see Adam Sandler do a second Happy Gilmore, but if it's just going to be Adam Sandler like it was in that trailer, just like, who wants to see Happy Gilmore? Like, I don't know, just like gruff and like phoning it in, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to like augment his happy place to be more like PC in modern day. Nobody
yeah, like
wants.
I don't know, it's just weird. So it's like, or The Rock, even. I'm just literally the cast of those Jumanji movies. Like,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't
Yeah.
do that,
See,
Sony.
See, like the sound when you say all the stuff about the new Anaconda out loud, it does just sound like Jumanji. It sounds like they're
Yeah.
gonna make another Jumanji, and I don't like that stuff. Might make a lot of money, but that doesn't mean it's good or fun or I
Yeah.
don't know, dude. I got a letterbox count now, and I'm trying to watch like good movies. You know, I'm trying to
yeah.
watch movies,
Okay.
and I do. I bet you there's a group of people out there, and I bet you there's a writer and a director who could make a really great Anaconda film, like a serious movie about a scary snake. But instead of getting like a cool, fun movie with a scary snake, the snake is just going to be the butt of a joke the whole time. It's just going to be, and like probably not a very funny one. So, I mean, I do think Paul Rudd's always fun. Like he's always funny.
It's reliable.
But I don't know. Like I'm trying to keep like a little bit of an open mind, but it just seems like a weird fucking direction to go.
Well, they should be doing my idea that I pitched a couple months ago.
Mhm.
Half grandmother, half snake,
Ugh.
Anaconda.
You know, I do have I'm trying to see, it's right up here. There is a novel of Anaconda, and the guy who wrote the screenplay for the movie, he had written a really like a more intricate, more serious, bigger story for the movie, and they were like, hey, can you make a lot of changes to this? So he ended up rewriting it, but he put out his original version as a novel, and I own it, but I have not like sat down to read it yet. But there is like his original idea for what the movie could have been.
Okay.
I just hope this doesn't become a genre of films where it's like, how do we resurrect this IP that people remember?
Craig, it already is.
I know.
Yeah.
It has been for a while.
Although I did
Yeah.
have that movie about the magic ecto cooler, but listen,
What's that one? Let's tell us so we can pass on it.
it's like a group of basically us, 3 of us,
Mhm.
and Ryan because it's his birthday, and we find Ecto Cooler. But we're not like us as podcast. We're like adults who like hate life and we hate our families and like we're down. We're real 9-to-5ers, right? And then like we remember Ecto Cooler and we're like, oh man, I remember what it was like to be a kid and have fun. Like I would do anything to go back in time and just relive that. And then through a sequence of events I haven't figured out yet, we find this magic Ecto Cooler. Jake,
I didn't even wait. I didn't even. My arms
That
are
was
crossed.
awesome, dude. It's your
It
face.
knew
Did you
what I
just
was
give me a
thinking.
thumbs down from your thoughts?
I wasn't even moving. It knew what I was thinking.
That is so fucking funny.
I wish I could.
Okay, Elon.
How
Or
did
whoever.
it do that? Was I making a frown? Does it like a frowny face do with them?
Anyways, they find the magic Ecto Cooler. They time travel. Listen, I haven't fleshed it out all the way. Let's talk about this last one.
I don't even remember what's the last one.
So this one's not a movie, but this was the Friday the 13th.
Oh,
Linda Cardellini. Let me read this real quick, Abby. I'll start with you. Linda Cardellini. We all know her from a lot of things, Freaks and Geeks and
Marvel movies.
Marvel, Scooby-Doo. She's been in a lot. She's great. She's closed a deal to star as Pamela Voorhees in Peacock's Friday the 13th expanded prequel series from A24, which is interesting. Premise is being kept under wraps. Cardellini's Pamela is believed to be, I laughed out loud when I read this earlier because it's just so dumb. A mother who's given up a singing career to raise a special needs child and takes a dark turn when she loses her son. What do you guys think the dark turn will be? I remember that Psycho prequel.
Yeah.
that's what this is going to be.
That's what
I
this
was
kind of
thinking.
feels
Like
like.
they're going to go inside the mind of the killer and have like a big, this is how it all built up kind of a thing. That's what I'm feeling.
I feel. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel a couple different ways about it. Like, on one hand, I am glad there's something Friday the 13th happening. It's been a long time, and like, if it were any of those like classic slasher movies getting some sort of show, I think that's cool. It's fine. I don't think it's gonna be good, but the fact that it's like TV, it's like it doesn't really count towards the the movies.
Canon.
It's its own thing, and I think it will be a lot like either the Hannibal show or Bates Motel. It will be a prequel that maybe some people will really love, most people won't, and it will run a season or two and then it will disappear. So whatever.
Right. I guess it's a little bit interesting seeing A24 kind of get into TV. Like they have a good track record, obviously, of producing better horror, but
yeah, I agree.
But
it's made for what Paramount Plus, like
Peacock.
Paramount Peacock show. Okay, whatever, we'll see.
Hearing
I don't
that it's
have,
A24 gives me a little bit of faith, but yeah,
same. And she's
they can also make bad movies though.
Yeah,
she's great.
Hey, you know what makes me more excited? This is not on the docket for tonight, but you know what is coming out? What's getting a new season very soon? Black Mirror.
Ooh.
Oh. Speaking of
yeah.
things that are upsetting, yeah.
It's a great show. That's
Yeah,
one
I know.
of the best shows
Brilliant.
I think we've gotten.
I completely agree. I was raised watching Twilight Zone, so it's like very much in that bizarro world that makes you think. I love it.
That's coming back. That always makes a huge splash. Like I've seen, like we've gone back and watched sporadic episodes over time. I've never sat down and watched all of them.
Yeah.
I've seen the big ones. I've seen the first one. I've seen the Star Trek one.
Well, there's a sequel to the Star Trek one in this next season.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like as far as the just kind of putting a button on the Friday the 13th thing, it's crazy that such a big loved franchise hasn't had any media besides a video game since 2009. That's a long time.
Texas Chainsaw has been in the news the last couple days. I'm kind of surprised you didn't have that in there too.
I forgot, but you know who's attached to the Texas Chainsaw remake?
Tell me.
Yeah, I do.
Who?
Your boy, Glenn Powell.
Your boy Glenn Powell.
What?
I don't know how much validity there is to that. I don't know if that's like a real thing or if like that deal is done, but there's been, it's weird. It kind of reminds me like the Cujo news last week. There was like one day they were like, hey, it looks like there might be some Texas Chainsaw stuff stirring up. And then like 2 days later, they were like, oh, well, here's a couple names already attacked. Like something's happening. There's a company just got the rights or something, and they're
Yeah.
something weird. They're going to be making some more Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw
and it's
really
weird because like this has happened. They've brought back Texas Chainsaw Massacre 6 times.
It's going to happen until we die, and I'm okay with that. You know, I want there to be more Texas Chainsaw. I just don't want them to keep trying to connect them to the original. Like that is like, let it remake. I don't care. It's Texas Chainsaw. Like remake it. Do whatever you want. Let it be something weird.
Yeah, let it be an
the last
overarching
one was
title with
bad.
original content. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it always gonna be Texas? You know, why can't it be the Arkansas?
Hey, I was looking up last night where the Texas Chainsaw locations are because I'd really like to go, and I was trying to see how close they are to Jay Key since I'm going to be at Jay Key's house twice this year. And I was like, oh, I'm going to ask Jay Key if he'll take me, but they're not in the direction we're going to be like. They're like not close to him.
Where are they? Do you know what city they're near?
I forget the name of the city, but they're like 4 or 5 hours south of Jay Key.
They're like so far out that you and JQ would like run out of gas and like have to pull in somewhere that's kind of sketchy.
Well,
the Texas Kaiju Massacre?
I mean, the gas station from the original movie is a restaurant now. It's still like the same building, but it's like a barbecue place, specific like a Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, of course.
But I would love to, hit that location, and then you can hit the cemetery location from the first film, and you get some good shots.
The movie's so fucked up.
It's bleak. Great. It's bleak. It's what I consider it one of the scariest.
It's great.
It's
horror
so
movies.
scary.
Yeah. I've only seen it once. I will probably not rewatch it.
This Halloween, YHS does the entire Texas Chainsaw. We'll watch them all.
Happy takes the mental health Monday.
Part 2 is the better. Part 2 is the best one. I love part 2. Dennis Hopper.
Oh.
Okay.
The second one is really silly, but it's still
second
gross.
one definitely haunted me. Like the VHS cover, I would always see it and be so intrigued, but be like,
but the cover it's the Breakfast Club. It's literally it's the exact same. They're in the same. It's a parody of the Breakfast Club, which like if that doesn't tell you what kind of movie
that tells you everything.
Yeah, it's silly.
Well, cool. Well, this was fun. We got to cover. There's a lot of movie news happening, so got to cover some stuff.
Yeah, that's exciting.
I got my my Criterion movies in the mail today
from
the
your
ones I ordered last week. Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Got some physical media to watch.
Yeah.
That's good. What'd you get again?
I was just gonna agree with Brian Brink, who says Black Mirror definitely triggers my anxiety. I have to like take it slowly too, like little piece by piece.
You have to watch like an episode and then watch an episode of Seinfeld. And...
Yep.
Well, that's what we had to. I mean, dude, these. Okay, well, real quick before you show those. Oh no, Jake, show those off first. I want to see.
Well, I was just gonna say I got the new Criterion collection, first time in 4K, Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Oh, cool!
Brand new. It's got some special features, and then I got one of my favorite films, The Shape of Water, Criterion collection, and then I also got from the Patreon. From the Lost Drive-In Patreon, I got number 9 of the Joe Bob Briggs Lost Drive-In Blu-ray came in as well.
Nice.
So
Heck yeah!
watch that.
I gotta just say this. I know I've talked about this a million times before. Jacob, I love that you got those movies. Walton Goggins is my favorite actor.
Okay.
And everything he's in it's not like
Hey, put him in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Make him play everybody. Make him play Leatherface, but as Walton Goggins.
Hold on. I want him in it, but I just want him to play the face that Leatherface wears.
He's like,
it's just Leatherface wearing his face.
It's Walton Goggins. These shows, all I can say is go watch them. Read your gemstones. Somehow, we were all like season 3 felt like such a great button up to that series, and it's so hard to keep it going. but everybody on that show is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
watching the things that come out of Judy Gemstone's mouth.
What
I'm
did
like,
she referenced something in last
oh
night's
Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gremlins. I laughed.
like Mrs. Deagle and Gremlins.
Yeah, it's like where
Yep.
do you even? That's so funny.
The funniest thing to me in last night's episode was when the Super Mario Brothers.
The
Oh,
handle for mustaches. Yeah.
oh my
Super
god.
Mario Brothers.
Hey Mark, this is a nice comment. Mark says, "Glad I tuned in tonight, throwing thankfulness and gratitude." Thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
was a fun.
Yeah.
But Walton Goggins he wasn't even on. Baby Billy wasn't even on last night's episode, but obviously White Lotus. If you're not watching it, it's. I mean, I talked about. I don't know what Mike White is trying to tell us, but he's trying to tell us something. There is some deep exploration. I literally was like, do I need to be a Buddhist after last night? I was like, do I need to get rid of all my possessions and just fucking be of the earth?
I think that would be the end of the podcast. So no.
Okay, I won't do that. But like,
It's
just
not
some
what
really-
I got.
that's
but-
not what you got out of it.
Hey, you
best-
know Mike White was on Survivor at one point,
he was
Oh,
on
that's
it.
wild.
and I wonder if his time on Survivor is what made him think
Well, he
about.
also
this show.
wrote and starred in Jack Black's last great movie, which was 2003
Rock.
School of Rock.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Jack Black and Mike White made a movie together.
Wow.
He also starred in that movie.
If Jack Black shows up on White Lotus, I bet he'll be great.
Yeah, but he won't.
So those shows are great, but I've binged like 3 or 4 different Walton Goggins interviews from the last year. He was on Dak Shepard's podcast. He was on Conan, and there's just something about him. We got to finish Fallout. We never finished it. I can't believe that.
It's great. You should, because he's playing. He's great in that.
He's so great. And then there's this article. He got bit by a snake filming White Lotus.
Oh wait,
Brown
he
Yeah.
got bit by a snake.
Yeah, and then he also was bit by a brown recluse 5 times.
What kind of snake did he get bit by? Probably
think
not.
One of those
Nothing.
ones from the. Let me look
From
it
the
up.
snake store.
Now that we're at the tail end here, but yeah, Walton Goggins snake. Here we go. Here we go. Hospitalized for snake bite while filming.
Hey, not to bring up like a specific, but that episode where his girlfriend, or is it his wife in the show, gets, she gets bit
Yeah.
by a snake and goes to the hospital. Did you guys think it was weird how she gets bit, they rush her to the hospital or whatever, but then it like cuts to the next scene and she's like, I'm good now. And she's
Yeah,
just
that was
out,
weird.
and they
I thought
don't.
that was strange
but-
editing.
It made me think it was something. I was like, oh, did she just die or something? It was like, what? Like, is there something? Was there just a major shift in the show? I mean, that was a couple episodes ago.
Right.
So, but I remember just thinking like, what? Why did they do that? I thought it was so weird.
So he says, as I was pulling the snake out, he didn't want to come, and the snake turned around and he bit me. The wound was promptly treated on set and filming continued as planned, but then he
I'm
got a
just
phone
trying-
call.
Those are non-venomous snakes, right?
Well,
They
he
were just-
said
I can't
he-
remember what it was in the show.
He said he got a phone call from the producer saying, "Hey, you know what? We've been thinking about it, and I don't know. We're thinking maybe you should go to the hospital." And Walton said, "For what? You said the snake was non-venomous. Am I dying a slow death?" So they just went. He went for
Just
precaution, but
just to make sure, yeah.
Yeah.
A snake bite, if it's not a venomous snake, is usually
Right.
like nothing.
But the brown recluse thing was that was a wild story because it was the day he did the makeup testing for the ghoul the first time. It was a 5-hour makeup test, and he
Wow.
said he was in a hotel and he put his pants on and he started feeling heat, and he had 5 big bumps. And he was like, in the interview, he goes, "I don't want to call out the hotel because there's a good chance I brought that thing with me from wherever I was coming from."
Yeah.
And I just love him. And Hateful Eight's one of my favorites. And Justified's a great show. And Vice Principals. To me, I'll end it on this. He's great and everything, but I think his portrayal of Lee Russell and Vice Principals is one of the
Yeah.
most. It's just the funniest. He is mean. He says mean things, and he is gnarly. And then he gets vulnerable a couple times. It's just so It's just so good.
That's a wild show. Vice Principals is a wild show.
It is. Hey, and look, they have no merch except for these 2 figures that sit on my desk. These Vice Principals figures.
Wait, why were those even made?
I
Why
don't
does that
know.
exist?
They're little like
Yeah.
statues. I don't even know who made it. HBO just made these. Look at this. Oh,
Wow.
shit. All right, we're down. Gamby's down. We just baby Billy Bible Bonkers. Okay.
All right.
Abby, final word. Go for it.
I want a Walton Goggins toy line. I want every single character he's ever played to be.
You get that Hateful Eight toy.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah,
Hateful
we
Eight
do
one.
have that. I want more though. I want that kind of quality with him.
Selling them now though for Japan, right?
Whew, everything's on the table.
Everything's on the table. I would
We
like
forgot.
write
We forgot to
James
have
Gunn.
our selling talk on the.
It is a YHS garage sale.
That's gonna
Come on over
happen
this
afterwards.
weekend. We're getting some Papa John's. Full prices, no deals. No deals.
No deals.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Free shipping.
Yeah, free shipping. Come get this shit. All right, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for being here. For Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh, my name is Craig Goldberg. You can join us live every Monday. And also, whether you get this live as it happens or after the fact, whether it's on YouTube or on the podcast app, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, engage with the content, and we'll be back with more from Yes Have Some next week. We'll probably have some schedule changes in April for our travel for Japan and Star Wars Celebration, but we'll let everybody know. And until next time, bye. I'm gonna put the music back on.
Do you want some?
We're gonna leave.
Bye, y'all. Get a letter
All right, bye.
account.
Bye.
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.